Please welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Strada. Thank you so much for all the love and support. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos and leave commentaries and also educate each and every one of ours, you guys are the real MVP. So guys, a lot of people are still having so many, reactions and their own spokenness about, the South Africans and the history of South Africa and thereabouts. Like, there's this particular stitch that got me, like, and I decided that I was just gonna make your day with that. And with other stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. Alright, lovelies, let's dive into it.
Alright, so baby girl, you're stating that everything that I said is pretty much a lie. And that there's an actual genocide that's going on over there. But here's the crazy part. These little W tears, I've heard them before. Those W tears is the reason why a lot of us black folk is dead. So, and one thing I've also noticed, baby girl, I read your comment section, particularly yours, when all the real South Africans started getting on your motherfucking ass. You had a hard time defending this thing that you claim that is not a lie. Because I find it quite funny how y'all claim that there's a genocide happening among white people. Sweetheart, if you're afraid of the Africa Rising motherfucking movement, just say that shit, because that's exactly what this shit sound like. They're taking their land back. They want y'all to be equal to them. So where the fuck did this genocide come from? Because I find it very weird how you had a very hard time defending this shit. So maybe I can motivate you to say something to me. Because I like to read and I research a whole bunch of bullshit. You heard me. I ain't seen not on genocide. I ain't seen not on picture. I ain't seen not on video. I ain't seen no news outlet stating that y'all are going through a genocide. Even when y'all walked your asses over here in a plane load, y'all motherfuckers don't even look like y'all went through a motherfucking genocide. To me, it looks like y'all, again, like I said before, escaping accountability. Or are y'all escaping accountability? Or are y'all terrified of this Africa Rising shit? Because like I said, the leader of Burka done kicked out a whole bunch of French shit. It's only a matter of time before South Africa start getting rid of that shit too. So with that being said, I hope I motivated you to show me some proof, baby girl, because I will be sitting here patiently waiting for that motherfucking genocide that you swear up and down is happening to your folk. Because last time I checked, there was a hella genocide that motherfucking happening in motherfucking South Africa to a point where a lot of people lost their shit. So now that it's happening to y'all, but it ain't really happening to y'all, y'all stated, oh, we're going through a genocide. No, I'm gonna tell y'all what the fuck y'all going through. Y'all going through an Africa Rising. You know, the shit that should have happened years ago. So if you scared of that motherfucking movement, just say that shit, girl.
My American people, this is extremely troubling. This is extremely important that you listen. Elon Musk and his rich, wealthy South African buddies have Donald Trump in their pockets, and they're planning to bring apartheid to America. Watch their moves. They are positioning themselves to bring apartheid to America. America, America, I am going on record saying this to you. We already made some foolish decisions. America, America, watch Elon. America, I'm begging you. I'm pleading with you, America. Watch Elon Musk. He is positioning himself to bring apartheid to our shores. And he's working on Donald because he knows Donald loves money. And he has a lot. And he's throwing it at him. And now he is positioning himself to bring apartheid to America. Think about it. Watch his moves. Watch his moves. Watch what he's doing. America, America. I'm going on record telling you all. I warned you all before and you did not listen. And look at the state that we're in now. America, America. I am warning you.
Okay, another day in the motherland. Hey, who the hell are you? Don't worry about all that. Just know that this land right here, this is my land now. Your land. How the hell do you figure that? Because you got a lot of natural resources. You got diamonds over here, and that's like my girl's best friend. I want that shit. I'm taking that shit. Bro, you can't take my shit. You crazy as hell. He is pretty crazy and stupid looking, but he has a point. You guys do have some great natural resources here. In fact, I just found some gold over there. This land belongs to me now. Gold? Where did you find gold? None of you bozos are entitled to any of this land. Just hold on for a second here. Where the fuck did you find gold? I want that gold. You can't take that from me. I was here first. But you weren't here first. You wasn't fucking... I was here first. If it's a war you want, then it's a goddamn war you shall receive. Can you guys take this white on white crime back to Europe? Like, why you gotta come to somebody else's house and fight? This is where we get it from. Whoa, bro. Why are we fighting? We could be working together to oppress and exploit these black people here. You know, after I kill a bunch of you guys, that does sound like a grand idea. I'm game. This does not bode well for me. There's been a lot of changes in South Africa recently. We just had an economic boom because of the Second World War, and we've become an industrialized nation. But a lot of that industrialization has been built on the back of black African labor. Now the native black majority wants rights. They want political rights and labor rights. They're trying to unionize. But I think we can compromise with these people. Compromise? What the hell are you talking about? These black people are going to dominate us white folks in the labor market. We got to do something about that. And the National Party has come up with the perfect solution. A new system we call apartheid. Now just hear me out. You're gonna like this. What we're gonna do is we're going to classify every single person in South Africa by their race. You're either gonna be white or black or colored. And that's complicated. We'll get to that later. Now that racial classification is going to determine where you can live, what schools you can go to, where you can shop, and most importantly, what jobs you can have. We're going to reserve all of the good jobs for white people, and the black people, who make up 70% of the population, will be relegated to just 13% of the land. Total separation, total white domination. That sounds kind of extreme. I think a policy like that could alienate us from the international community. Excuse me, voters here. We're gonna go with the National Party. We like that white supremacy shit, but we have a few questions about these racial classifications. What about the Indians? You know, the people that came from South Asia? Well, they're just gonna be something different from all the other classifications. We'll probably treat them better than coloreds. Or maybe worse, I don't know. You keep using this term colored. What is that? How is that different from black and white? You know, coloreds. They're not black, they're not white, they're kind of both. They're biracial, mixed, you know. But wouldn't those people just be black? Well, you know, they got fairer skin. That's gotta count for something. How are you gonna determine the difference between someone who's black and someone who's colored? Oh, with the pencil test. We'll stick a pencil in their hair, and if we can pull it out easily, then they're probably colored. If that bitch gets stuck in there, then they're probably black, and they'll be treated as such. That's the scientific methodology you're going with? Okay, bet. We're down for it. What the hell am I even listening to right now? This is cartoonishly evil. The white minority is gonna dominate the black majority? We do all the damn work around here. Plus, we're the natives. No. We must resist apartheid at all costs. And what the hell are you gonna do about it? Use your peaceful, Gandhi-inspired, non-violent tactics against us? That won't do shit. Apartheid is the law of the land. Deal with it. Word? It's like that? Well, I guess we have to do this the fun way. Violent resistance to apartheid. Now, not super violent. We want to do this with the least amount of casualties as possible. We're just going to mainly do sabotage shit. Cut their power lines. Blow up their government buildings, but blow them up at night so nobody gets killed. Then they come there the next day and they're like, what happened to my government building? It just fucks up their whole morning. Hey, South Africa? Yes, me. Yeah, Mandela, we know where he's at. I'm about to fax you his location. No, he's a communist. Fuck him. Yeah, I got you. Of course. Love you too. Bye. You didn't think you were gonna see an international story without us in the mix, right? Nelson Mandela, you stand accused of being a communist, and the Communist Party has been outlawed here in South Africa. You also stand accused of being a part of the African National Congress, another banned party here in South Africa. And you are accused of crimes against the state in which you were trying to overthrow the government. How do you plead? I plead that this courtroom is a farce, this country is a farce. Cry freedom. You people will be remembered as some of the worst individuals of the entire 20th century. I mean, the Germans were worse, but you're definitely bottom five. Definitely bottom five. And you can all rot in hell. Well, that makes my next task quite easy. I sentence you to life in prison. Fuck off. Mandela's struggle is all of our struggle. We will continue to resist these devils until apartheid is dead. Oh, something's gonna be dead, all right, but it's not gonna be apartheid. The entire international community is turning their back on us. We've killed too many of these student protesters. The whole world is boycotting our products. I know what I gotta do now. Today, I announce the official end of apartheid. That racist system is now dead. What? Is he for real? It's gotta be a trick or something. I am also legalizing the African National Congress Party, and I am releasing Nelson Mandela from prison. This is incredible. We won. It's like the most successful revolution since the American Revolution. I can't believe we did it. I am also announcing the end of our nuclear program. We are going to get rid of all of our nukes, the first country to willingly do so. Wait a minute, you giving up our nuclear bombs? You mean the things that give us political leverage and make it where other countries don't attack us? What you doing that for? The hell are you talking about? Mandela's probably gonna be president soon. I'm not gonna have those nukes in the hands of you you people. We don't even say the N word over here. We say the K word. Okay, another day in the motherland.
White South African refugees. Let's get into it. You may have heard this come up multiple times in the media as of recently, especially from our president.
It's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about, but it's a terrible thing that's taking place. And farmers are being killed. They happen to be white. Whether they're white or black makes no difference to me, but white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa. And the newspapers and the media, television media, doesn't even talk about it.
There's a lot to unpack here as to why our administration prefers white asylum seekers and are bad-mouthing and painting black and brown asylum seekers and migrants in the wrong way. In his first presidency, President Trump didn't hide the fact that he thought that there were good countries and bad countries. He called Haiti and El Salvador shithole countries, whilst in the same sentence saying that we need more migrants from good places like Norway. White Afrikaners in South Africa fit the stereotype that many white ring governments around the world want in their country, and they have become the darlings. 3 decades ago, on April 27, 1994, after centuries of white rule, black South Africans voted in general elections for the first time. This marked the official end of apartheid rule, cemented days later when Nelson Mandela was sworn in as the country's first black president. Since the arrival of Dutch settlers in the 1800s and British colonists in the 1700s and 1800s, South Africa had been a project that subjected black people systematically segregationist laws and practices. But it was the adoption of apartheid in 1948 that codified and formalized these racist practices into law. It strictly separated people into separate classes based on their skin color, putting the white minority in the highest class, with all others, including black, indigenous, multi-race, multi-ethnic people, and descendants of indentured Indian workers below them. The Group Areas Act, people were legally segregated based on race and allocated into separate areas to live and to work. The law regulated non-white groups further away from developed urban areas. Black people in particular were housed under resource French townships far away from the center. From the late 1950s, some 3.5 million black South Africans were forced to relocate from urban areas, and some 70% of the population was squeezed into 13% of the country's most unproductive, uninhabitable land. Those who opposed these laws and refused to move had their homes forcibly demolished and were sometimes arrested and in prison. Black people, specifically men, worked in cities as a source of cheap labor, were required to carry pass books which dictated which areas they can move freely through. Under the separate amenities laws, public transportation, parks, beaches, theaters, restaurants, and other amenities were segregated racially, signs stating whites only, very similar to Jim Crow America. The story of apartheid in South Africa is not one that America is not familiar with, and one that America is not trying to go back to today, which adds another layer as to why these refugees are now being welcomed with open arms. South Africa reports over 20,000 killings and deaths a year. Of that, only around 50 were white South African farmers. But why is this story being painted? We have to get into the Land Expatriate Act. Expropriation Act number 13 was signed into law by President Cyril Ramaphosa in January, and it's meant to address the land inequalities that stem from apartheid and white supremacy. Nearly 400 years of Dutch and British colonial rule and four decades of apartheid saw waves of land grabs and mass evictions of Black, Indian, and mixed race people to create a white-only area. The 1913 Native Land Act gave most farmland to whites, generally Afrikaners of Dutch and French descent, leaving just 13% to blacks. The 1950 Afrikaner National Party passed a law removing 3.5 million black people from their ancestral lands. Today, only 4% of privately held land is owned by black South Africans, who make up nearly 80% of the 60 million person population. When we look at the history of South Africa and we look at that very recent ending of apartheid, you have to understand why the magnitude of these white refugees being chartered in on a plane, being held at a press conference, being given land matters. Why does it matter? Let's cut to Acre Trader. What is Acre Trader? Acre Trader is an investment company based out of Ohio that invests in farmland, providing farmland and resources to people who want to farm. One of the initial investors in Acre Trader was none other than J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance, who's at the helm of their administration, who is now having all these farmers fail because the farmers didn't get continued subsidies. What happened when the farmers didn't get continued subsidies? The government is grabbing their land up. So we have Afrikaners who were farmers coming to America as refugees with skill sets to farm, and some of the initial investment group funds that came into this company were also from South Africa. Are we seeing the picture now? So we have the brown migrants and the brown workers who have been providing services to this country for centuries, how we get our goods, how we get our farmland tilled. And now we have white refugees who are okay because they're white. This country wants to go back to Jim Crow. White people in South Africa still exist in Jim Crow. I always say South Africa today is like America in the 1960s, 1980s, because of when apartheid ended. It ended in 1994. I was in primary school in 1994. It's insane to think about, but the more you know.
Did you guys see this? Julius Malema, he lets us know what he thinks about those 49 Afrikaners that went to the US. Listen.
There are no Afrikaners who have been killed here in South Africa. It's not true. And there are no 49 Afrikaners who left South Africa. You all know that. It's a fiction. It's drama. You know, America with drama is number one. That thing is Muvango. I don't know what is Muvango in Africa. It's just a drama. I believe they landed and then they waited for cameras, took them pictures, the next flight back to South Africa. If those people are farmers, it means there are 49 farms available. Why are we not expropriating them? Because they've abandoned them. But why is the media not telling us? Because they say these are farmers. Why is the media, through its own investigation, say to us, this picture you see is a farmer at this. They are not farmers. There's no one who left farming here in South Africa. I suspect that those whites were these ones who were looking after cars at the parking lot. They were attending to cars and they went to fetch them there. They can't live. They will never live the kind of life they live here in South Africa anywhere else.
He said that those Afrikaners that left, they're not farmers, that they guard parked cars for a living, or else they would have never left South Africa. Do you think what he's saying is true? Let me know. Comment below.
You know, sometimes going back in time is very necessary. Like, internet never forgets. Internet never forgives. Internet always remember. Like, anytime you're doing something and you think that you are the top of your, always remember that there will be a time, there will be a place, there will be a moment in life you have to just look back at the time and see what you have actually created. I am actually speaking in respect of these pro-power people. Like, these people, like, I saw a lot of commentaries. People were like, "Oh, isn't it better for them to be transported or to be, deported or to be, you know, to Libya instead of them suffering and all of that. Libya, of all places. Like, what happened to a seat? What happened to them reclaiming their land? What happened to them? And it's just so easy to like, oh, okay, isn't it better? But let's just call a spade a spade. There's no point sugarcoating anything. There's no point trying to like see reasons why people should just accept anything. What happens to giving, you know, so many power people, came up one time, I think that's about 2 weeks ago, talking about how the last administration never called for ceasefire, that they all contributed in whatsoever that is happening in power. But right about now that this man is in power, why is no one calling upon him? Why is no one canceling him? Why is no one calling upon, like, why is no one telling him to call for a cease? Why is no one doing that? Because, some people know the kind of people that they can actually around with and get away. They know exactly what they're doing. We are the said pro-pal people who were all over the social platform trying to make it look like people that looks like me are the. We are there. Where are they right now? Where millions of power people are going to be taken away from their land to Libya. I even heard that Libya is not even a good place right now. People are suffering. People are going through Gen Orsi. Libya is at the verge of, and this is the same place he wants to put millions of people. He wants to deport millions of people from power because he has an agenda of Gaza, right? They have that agenda. Like, I don't understand why these pro-power people, all of a sudden, they all moved on with their life. The same energy that they were giving during the last administration is no more given here. The same energy where they keep on calling people like, oh my goodness, oh, black people, you guys are the problem. Black people, you guys are the colonizers. Like, where is that energy? Where is it? I'm just so tired of people who are so two-faced. When it gets to a place where you actually need to, talk and speak out to, do what you know how to do best, you are so quiet. You are quiet. But when you want to like come for people that looks like me, black people, oh my God, like this whole thing is just so tricky in the sense that the real people who are really going through this atrocity are not even online. They are not. You can't find them on the social platform. The only people who actually had the opportunity to do something, whom, let me just say, poor proud people and all of that, now they are all relaxed. Now they are not using their voices anymore. I saw a video of Maya. I'll continue talking about this Maya because she is the engineer of all this whole thing. Like, seriously, lovelies, with all of this, like, call it revolution, exposure, truth, with South Africa and their quest for refugee status and everything in between, that's actually come to everyone's notice that all of these things are all propagandas, they're all lies made up, they're all the, like, you can call it anything, but the thing is that there is nothing anyone can do about it. It's so unfortunate that I think there's nothing no one can do about it. But the truth remains that the world is saying the truth. The world is watching. So that anytime that people that looks like me comes out to like, oh my God, nobody should like, oh, your race card is too much. I have not really, put, on what is really going on over there. But with all of this refugee thing, with all of the controversy, South Africa, white Afrikaners, I think that this whole thing actually pipes out to one thing. Most of these people migrating on with the refugee status some of the people who actually enjoyed the apartheid, who actually enjoyed the humiliation of people that looks like me, who actually want to feel that white privilege, and because they are not being given maybe a special attention, they are getting agitated. These racist people, hmm, they can never move on or they can never leave when they are not given fully attention. It's something it's just like a narcissist person. Like they just want all of the attention to be given to them before any other person. They should be like they should come first. Like they should be the one that is more important than every other person. I even saw a stitch. Someone talked about how the Afrikaners or white people in Africa were the same people, were the first people to find um to find South Africa. Like they say that they were the first people to actually, find South Africa, the land. And I was like, all the way from Europe, you were able to find South African land. With that being said, you are the real owners of African land from Europe. What kind of a lie is this? When I saw that commentary, I was just like laughing. I was like, anybody who want to say anything to make them feel okay. This person forgot that so many people have read and know so many things about colonization and how it came to be. And now this person says, oh my God, we actually founded, we were the first people to find the South African land. So, black people, we're supposed to be treated, in some certain way. So we should be treated in a minority or in a majority or with a privilege or something. Like, why? How? Some of these people find it very, very unpleasant anytime they are in a situation or a society where everyone is treated equally. They don't like everyone to be treated equally. They just want to be the one to stand out. They want to get the best job. They want to get the best salary. They want to get the best everything. Every other person can come third. Somebody left a commentary that, I decided to apply also everything. She talked about the refugee status because she was unable to get a job or a good paying job. And somebody was like, there are other people, even the set state you're going, people are also looking for job. So that means you are not supposed to look for job. Like you are not meant to look for job. Or you are not meant to have some little life difficulties. All those little life difficulties are meant for people that looks like me because, okay, our skin is tolerant, right? Like we can overcome any life struggle. We are meant to suffer, and you are meant to enjoy.